The next item on our agenda is
Life safety.
life safety and capital improvements. Kevin?
Mary Ann, if you could pull up the slides real quick, and the board, if you have your updated pack, I added these pictures. If you didn't, if you're not logged in.
They're just pictures of the front. I'll take a look.
So,
What page?
on page 102.
Thank you.
This is the front entrance of the school district. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, if you blew up the picture next to the panel that has fallen off, you'll see there's, Mary Ann might not be able to do that, but there's a 1952 etched in one of the granite panels. So I had Gary Prokes pull the historical yearbooks, and this project was when they did the expansion of the school, of the high school in 1952 to 1954. The problem was when they did the facade on this main entrance was they put these granite panels on the main entrance and the one side by the handicap ramp. The issue with this is that there was no separate curb or metal or bracketing system that these rested on, so they rested on the actual stairs. So when these stairs were demoed off, you basically were demoing off the foundation that the granite panels rested on. So the second picture will show you that one panel fell loose, but if you look to the bottom left-hand side, you can see where the concrete line was actually poured. It's kind of like they submerged the bottom panels in the concrete to keep them steady. There was really no footing except for the bricks placed underneath them. The third picture here just shows you basically what they did is they took a half a brick with some mortar, and they basically mortared these panels on, and that's how they've been on the walls for the last 50, 60 years. And there's also these little pins, but so there has been some moisture damage behind them, etc. And so what happened is with the vibration of the demolition, one of them came loose and some of them have moved. And so I had been including in my weekly update that we are looking, Mary Ann, if you can go back to the original picture. We are looking at solutions to fix this, and one of the biggest concerns of the construction manager and that is that we want to make sure whatever we do that a few years down the line from now that none of these panels fall off perpendicularly onto somebody, as well as securing the supports from the roof down vertically. And so the first solution, they had a contractor come out and we met with that person and they wanted to remove all of the panels, clear off how they were previously installed and reinstall them with the current technology of installation. That first quote came back at close to $65,000. The project that we're doing for the front of the stairs is only $100,000, so I was not very happy with that solution. So we met with a different granite installer yesterday, as well as our engineer. Our structural engineer from Peace Bourse came out, and I wanted to make sure, and the construction manager wanted to make sure that the stability of the wall behind the granite panels was okay for drilling into and tapping into. And now we're coming up with 3 alternatives. One of those alternatives will be to remove and replace, put in the new technology of how you hang granite panels and put these in place. The other would be to resecure the panel that has been removed, restore the panels, and put basically pin them to the brick wall behind and have some type of rosette on the pin so it doesn't just look like bolts, but fasten them to the walls, and then just put a vertical support underneath it, an iron or steel brace underneath, so there's something in between them and the concrete. The third solution, which I think is probably the best solution, is to remove the bottom panels, since one has already fallen off. Remove some of the bottom panels, secure them with the new technology, cut them appropriately so we could put a separate curb underneath them so that's not attached to the staircase, and then redo the staircase, and then just pin the rest of the remaining panels. I have not received quotes on any of these yet, so I won't be able to speak to this until the COW meeting in September. The fourth and final option, obviously if all of these come back more significant than planned, would be that we could remove the granite panels and just brick the storefront and brick the facade where the granite panels are. My hesitance on that is, this is a part of the legacy of the high school, and obviously it was something that was put in 1952 and carries a part of the history of the district and the school building. And so I made it very clear to the construction manager that we should be looking at all solutions with cost in mind to try to maintain the original facade as possible. So what I'm hoping to present to you at the COW meeting is the cost of the alternate options. And so I'm hopeful that I can come up with a typical change order, which is 10 or 20%, in the 20,000 range, that 20 or 30,000 range, where that I can get this done and save the original facade. I think the board would then have to seriously consider, if all of these options come back to be at half the price of the project or more, whether or not then we want to eliminate the original facade with the granite panels and go to just a traditional brick facade. Carrie has prepared an amendment to our life safety amendments that we already submitted previously. She thinks there could be a slight opportunity that we could use life safety funds, some of our remaining life safety funds, to use to do this repair, because we were actually addressing a life safety item, and it somewhat has caused another life safety item if these panels fall off the wall on anybody or are not secure. So I wanted to inform you that that amendment has been completed and submitted, but I cannot stamp approve until the board formally approves that amendment. I don't think the board should take any type of action on that until we get all the dollar amounts. If I receive a dollar amount that can pull off that option of securing the bottom panels, putting in a separate ribbon, a curb ribbon for those panels to sit on, and pinning the other panels with some decorative rosettes so that they're secure, and we re-caulk and reseal them. If I receive that change order and it's within budget, I'd also like permission from the board, if they're okay with that, to go through with that. If not, then I'll bring all the options to the board at the COW meeting and let you make that tough decision. But I think we should be trying to maintain the original facade if possible.
When you say the original budget, you mean including the unforeseen, don't you?
Well, the issue with this project was, we have $100,000, it's a $100,000 project. Roughly 80 of it was gonna be coming out of life safety funds we have in our life safety funds that weren't originally budgeted for this project. So the only extra 20,000 I was going to take out of the unused allowance from the gym project. So I didn't necessarily have a contingency budget for this because this was an add-on.
Right.
So we would have, the reason
You
I'm.
didn't spend much of the unforeseen yet from the original project, did you?
We did not, but we did use it to do the LED lights, which was 25,000. We did it to install the sound system that we're being reimbursed from with our Loyola payments. So we have tapped into some of it. We will have dollars, I think, to address this. And that's why I'm saying if I can keep it to a 20% or so range and fix this without having to do a life safety amendment, I'd like to make sure you're okay.
Well, if we can't spend the money on life safety until it's approved.
You would have to do a formal amendment saying that you're gonna spend this money on the granite panels. So she was waiting to get, there's two steps that would need to occur. One, we wanna find out the cost, and two, we wanna be able to find out if the state will approve it. We should have both of those by the COW,
Because if it can be life saving, we want it to be life saving,
if the board's okay with that.
so if I understand correctly, it's 100% of granite panels, around the corner, on the other side, interior,
The interior's not touched. We're okay there. They believe we're okay.
but it's the same mortar pattern the way they did it.
They are to assume that it's the same mortar pattern, but they don't know if, they don't think it was affected by the vibration of the
So, but on
demolition.
this, the other side of the.
On the
all way-
interior side.
No,
But both
on-
exterior sides have moved, have shifted. Because there was nothing
And
underneath
so they'll
them.
go around the corner also in front
On
of
the,
facade?
on the west side of the facade, it only goes like one panel long. On the east side of the facade along the handicap ramp, I think it goes 4 to 6 panels out.
And they'll,
It's a little longer. So they would pin all that, yes. They would correct all the outside granite is the intent. But I want to do it without taking it down. I want to try to come up with the most cost-efficient solution. What I also don't want to do is just reinstall it where we're putting them back on the concrete, so the next time someone removes this concrete, they're in the same. I don't want to kick the can down the road. I think we've identified the problem. We should correct it.
All right, any questions or comments on this side?
Kevin, once again, I think you have gone over and above trying to just preserve the historical perspective of what prior people put in, so I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But he asked if we would allow him to move forward if it stays within his budget or
If
if
the board, is the board okay with me doing a change order that's within our budget?
Is there any objections to that?
Or if it's included in life safety, either one, right? Kevin, is that what you want?
If it's included in life safety, we would need to do a formal resolution, passing the amendment at the cow.
Well, it don't-
But if I know the board's in favor of that, and we can at least maybe start getting some of the design work done and get it moving. So the first question would be change, if I'm okay to do the change order without bringing the options to the board. If I get it, I think it's reasonable within budget.
Any objections?
No, as long as procedurally, the life safety funds, that we don't do any work ahead of time that prevent us from doing that.
Right.
Okay, right. And if we can use the life safety funds, I should have an answer from Carrie soon, and then I could at least get the leg work and some of the demo work done before the repair work starts.
Anybody
need
has
to
any
do
issues with
life
that? I don't think so, do we?
None.
No? Okay. All right, thank you, Kevin, on that. Anything else on capital improvements or life safety?
The gym project is on schedule. When the board leaves tonight and heads to closed session, we'll peek our heads in there, but the final painting will be taking place tomorrow with the striping and the stencils. The sealing should be occurring on Thursday and Friday. The curing will take place next week, and the week after that, of 9/26, I believe, is when the bleachers will be delivered, and we should have everything open and ready to go by the third week of October to still get some volleyball contest in the main gym. We've discussed as an administration, due to the amount of people that need to get in that facility and our events, that we probably will not do any formal ribbon cutting ceremony, because it's not a new facility, it's a remodeled facility, but we will do some extra PR to encourage people to come out and see the remodeled gymnasium and to support the volleyball team and eventually the girls and boys basketball teams, and in the spring, the badminton and volleyball teams.
Sounds good.
Okay,